I think I can honestly say that I am getting tired of these switches. So I've said in passing before that this set of switches here came from the layout in a hobby store that had closed down a long time ago. It's really been around 20 years now, I think. And they were already pretty well used at the time, but back then I was a poor kid with no money to spend on good quality switches, so I was just taking whatever I could get. And these have served their purpose well for a long time, but they've never really been the smoothest operating switches. And as you could see in those earlier shots, most of my trains actually run pretty roughly over them. So I think it's about time that I finally replace these. So maybe one of the biggest issues with these switches is this point right here. I've done a little bit of work on here to kind of flatten it out, but this area has always been raised above the rails just a little bit, which causes, depending on the engine or freight car you're running across it, a pretty big bump. And it used to be so bad that things were just derailing all the time, so eventually I just got frustrated, took a file to the top of each one of these and smoothed them down a little bit, and that helped quite a bit, but even with that, they have never been perfect. And on top of that, this area is long enough that any of my engines with short wheelbases will pretty much always lose power going over them. Now, the actual setup of the track in this area really works pretty well. So instead of changing out the way that this is all put together, I'm just putting in brand new switches of basically the same type. In the years since Atlas made these old switches, though, they've made some nice upgrades to their newer ones here. So this is essentially the same product, but more modern. And getting a close-up of these switches side by side, you can clearly see the difference between the two. On the old switches, the frog section is mostly metal, but it's also longer and it has that bumpiness to it that I showed you earlier, where the new switch has a shorter plastic area that is smoother, so pretty much any of my engines, even the ones with short wheelbases, should be able to cross it without any problems, and it shouldn't have that bumpiness to it either. So to get the old track up, I started by taking all these off of the switches. Those were just popped in place, so that was easy to do. So now I'm going to try just gently loosening it a little at a time, starting at the middle. Just using a thin screwdriver to kind of go underneath these rails and ties. Just kind of break a little bit of glue at a time while also getting some of these pins up. Okay, that took some careful work, but I finally got it released from one end, all loosened from the road bed. So now just pull that off. And I'd forgotten just how many tacks that I had put in around the rails in various places just because the original ties were broken and they were drifting all over the place. So yeah, that's going to be really nice to have some new switches in there. And now that I'm putting the first switch on there, the long straight section is the same length, but the curve out is different from the old ones. And looking at the bottom of one of the old switches, they are number 4 turnouts, so I'm going to have to look and see what I can do about this. Alright, I've got the new switches in, number 4 turnouts, and these will be a direct replacement to the old ones. All the measurements are exactly the same as before. I think even the locations for putting in the tacks are the same. They've made some nice improvements to these, though, which you can see pretty obviously in a few areas, such as where the turnout connects. It's instead of having these 2 huge rivets here and all that, everything is kind of better contained inside of these much smaller parts that are soldered underneath the track, so that looks a lot better. They've also improved the frog on here. They've made the design a little sharper than before and a little smoother as far as I can tell, so things should run over this really nicely. And since I've been studying this track a little, I've discovered that I actually could have powered these old ones at any time. I just didn't know it.
you would connect the wire to one of these two little holes here and then run that to your system. But now they've changed that, so it's a little terminal on the side here. You solder your wire to that, run it through the layout, and then bury that under ballast, and it keeps it nice and hidden. So I think I'm going to give wiring these a shot, see how that all works out, and we'll see how smoothly these new switches work.
So one more issue that I ran into is I was going to reuse these middle pieces, the crossing and the two little straight pieces there to connect everything, but just looking up close, well, they're all soldered together, so I was just trying to remove the solder with some wick and the iron, and it did take a lot out, but at the same time, some solder flowed in, and no matter how much I worked at it, I just couldn't get enough out of there to actually use that track again. So those are kind of permanently stuck together. Now, I could get tools that actually remove that solder so that I could get it out, but I decided to just go the cheap way and get new replacement track. So we got the crossing there, got the little straight pieces here to use, and you can tell that this is old stock by the price tag on there. Like, not only is it $1.89, but it came from Michaels. I don't even know when the last time was that they carried any model train products. But yeah, it's going to be essentially all new track here, and that'll work out just fine. All right, it was a little tricky getting it all in there, but the new switches and other pieces are laid down, and I used the old switch machines since they work just fine. So see there, no problems at all. Everything seems to be working smoothly. There are a couple pieces that aren't quite wanting to sit flat, so I might have to look into them a little bit more, see if there's something underneath preventing them from going flat in there. But anyway, to test this all out before I do anything else, like soldering in additional wires and other things to power these turnouts, I thought I'd give it a little test with the Lindsay stubby switcher there. So let's see how this does going through. Yeah, it still doesn't quite make it. This is a short wheelbase. It does a little better than before. It's definitely smoother. Yeah, so once I power those up, even engines with really short wheelbases like this one should go through without any problems. But for now, there's still going to be just a little break in the power. But I think most importantly here, these seem to be a lot smoother than the old switches, so I'm not going to get those huge bumping motions every time something runs over them, and that should also help to prevent a few derailments when I'm trying to run things through the switches from one track to the other. Now, one more model I want to test across here real quick is the Mantua Belle of the 80s here, which if you saw that video, you'd know that it's extremely picky about how level the track is, and the old switches and other track pieces, they were so, like, I never even saw it before, but they weren't level around here, so the engine would ride up on here and lose all traction around this point. So just want to test it through all the different directions here and see how it does. So let's get that going. First straight. Little power loss, of course. Oh, stalled that time. That was odd. Okay. Well, anyway, it's making it through the switches there. No problems with traction. No derailments. And it doesn't look like there's any loss of traction here either. So this track is definitely more level than the old stuff. Also makes it over this side better because it's only the 2 engine wheels picking up, but 4 tender wheels, so they can make it all the way across there very easily. Yeah, that's working just fine. This is something I honestly should have done a long time ago. Replace those switches, but despite being free and used when I got them, they held up for 20 years, so that's not bad. Yeah, that is all just smooth as can be. Everything runs over those switches a lot quieter now, and no more of that bumpy motion, so I'm very happy about that. This will definitely make a big difference in running my trains around the layout from now on. Now, another thing I want to test is to see how these old European models with the big flanges do running over these new switches. And they still ride up on them. Okay, well at least it's making it through, but let's see how Rivarossi does. Okay, I've got my 284 on the track here. You can see it's got the big flanges. This one's always been a really smooth runner. Let's see if it runs smoothly over the switches. Just makes it. Yeah, so the large flanges on these Rivarossi American models do just fine. So it's only the extra large flanges on the models made completely to European standards that have some trouble. And then one more. I've got this tender-driven steam engine from Jouef. Stay down. Yeah, that's pretty bouncy. I honestly don't understand why almost all these European trains have such large flanges. Seems a little ridiculous to me, but oh well. Maybe I'll figure out some way eventually to make these work better on the track. After thinking for a little while of how I want to power these, I've decided that I'm going to have both of these linked together and both of these linked together, so they'll be on the same switches, so I only have to deal with 2 switches. And I realized I just wasn't using the drawers that I had installed under here. I thought I would get a lot of use out of them, but I didn't, so I replaced that with this wooden panel, and I just put this little sketch on here so I have some reference of which way the switches go. So normal position will be like this for the outer track, like this for the inner track. So when I want to switch them around, this will go down into the outer track, this will go up into the inner track. And these switches also have neutral position, so I can shut them off if I ever want to. But this way, the loops will both remain fully powered with no dead spots. Okay, things are all wired here. I just did a quick basic job, and that's really all that's needed now. I can always improve some of the connections later, but yeah, I've got the wiring done here, and I made it so that I can separate the wires in case I ever want to have each switch on its own individual power switch. And now you can see on top where I have the wires poking through the ballast and wired to the track, so I'll just give those a little gray paint, cover them with a little bit of fresh ballast, a little grass over on this end, and with that it should be almost unnoticeable. And now bringing back the Lindsay stubby switcher, since this is the one that had the most trouble with these switches in the last video. Just for a quick look at how it used to be, I have the switches in the neutral position. Stops right away. Gotta get it going fast, or it just stops. Yeah, it's not going through at all without it, so now let's turn that on. Power's right back up. Goes through nice and smooth. And it's going through a lot more smoothly now. Much smoother. Definitely looking good. And now whenever I want to change the power here, first thing I'll do is just flip these into the neutral position. Then I can change all these switches. I don't plan on powering the actual switch here with any sort of switch motor since they're right here up front. Maybe some other ones around the layout as I build on, I'll do that. But now, switch these over to the crossing configuration. There's still going to be some trouble with that centerpiece since there's no powering there. But for the switches themselves, it's making it through no problem. So whenever I run a really short wheelbase through that center switch, I still have to give it a little bit of speed. But at least there's a lot less power. At least there's nowhere near the power loss that it used to have. So now let's just couple a few cars onto there. That should help to push it through a little bit. Keyword being should. This thing is heavy. It's got quite a bit of traction. Yeah, so for the stubby switcher, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get here without doing some kind of a custom centerpiece that has more electrification to it, but that's more work than I really want to do at this point. And with the switches themselves powered now, I think this is going to be much better than my layout has ever been before. Yeah, that's looking a whole lot nicer. And now straighten these out, switch it to neutral, hit the switches. And every time this comes back around, got them powered the way that they need to be. Slow it on down. Goes right through, no problem. So now that I finally have this work done on the layout, I feel like I can get back to doing my regular video production. It's been about 5 or 6 months since my last video because I really wanted to get this completed before anything else. And thanks to how I have this put together, I can add more switches along the way as I expand the layout. Just have these two in here for now. There's the light switch over here for the scenery. And I can add maybe about 3-4 other switches here, which is plenty of room for the plans that I have kind of laid out, at least in my head. And now this is done and the layout is working better than ever before.